Hi, I'm Laura J. Wiskins. The J stands for Joanne. I've been writing now for just over 2 years as published writer. Been writing for years and years without showing anyone my work. And I just wanted to show you a quick introduction to me. My first story was Danny Boy, which has been really well received, really good reviews from all over the world. Off the back of that, I wrote 3 books from the Hunter series: Hunter, The Boy, and Hunted. I also wrote a short story called The Entity, which is a ghost story. And I've written some flash fiction, which is just a few hundred words, or a few dozen words. It's flash, so it's fast. And I put those into my first paperback, Telling Tales, which is back to front on the screen. And as you can see, a collection of short stories. This isn't the original cover. I did design the original cover and decided that I didn't like it anymore. So it got a makeover. That's me on the back. Following on from Telling Tales, I started to have a character talk to me. A lot of writers will say that characters talk to them, and that's very true for me. I'll be going to sleep and a character will start having a conversation in my head. Not necessarily with me, sometimes with other characters. um, and anyway, the conversation after Telling Tales was finished was from Celeste. And Celeste is in Pieces of Me. Again, not the original cover, wasn't happy with it. My niece designed this lovely cover, which now graces the paperback. Um, Celeste isn't like other girls. She's not quite normal, not in a bad way, in a really good way. Um, and she basically leaves pieces of herself with the people that she's met and loved. Um, I can't really say too much about it without giving the story away, but you can check this out on my book 2/pieces of me. The links are everywhere on my Facebook page, on my Twitter, on my website. She's even got her own bookmark. I really enjoyed writing that. Might go back at some stage and make it into a full-length novel because it is a novella, so it will only take a few hours to read. But I did enjoy this. It was a bit of a bittersweet one for me because it was the first book that I'd written that my mum hadn't read all the way through. We'd only got halfway through when she passed away from cancer, but I'll go back to that. After Pieces of Me, I was on holiday one year in the Dominican Republic by the pool, and these two characters started having an argument in my head. No, it sounds mad. Anyway, at the time I was listening to The Greatest Hits of Good Charlotte. I'm not ashamed, I love them. And so a couple of the characters got their names from basically the band members. And the book Riot Girl took the title from one of their songs. On the back again. And basically, Indiana is the main female character, and she came hurtling to the front of the queue of all the other characters because there's several other books that I was supposed to be writing, one of which is The Memory Box, which was voted for by my Facebook fans to be the next book that I wrote. And I'm sorry, it is in progress and it will be one of the next ones, but Indiana's kind of a bit of a kick-ass and couldn't ignore her. It's basically 17-year-old Indiana Jones. I loved the films, and it kind of felt like she should have a really name that maybe she has problems with because of the films. She's been teased about it, so um, she's fallen in love with her best friend. She's been in love with him for a few years. He finally realizes that he's in love with her too when his band, The Riots, gets picked up by a record label and they leave. And Indiana's left to deal with life in a place full of people who don't understand her, where she doesn't fit in. She does make friends with somebody called Daniel, and he helps to hide a secret for her for many years, and she's just pulling her life back together. She's comfortable, she owns her own home, she's got a son, she's still with Daniel. Things are starting to be normal for her when the riots come back to town. And one look at Joel, and she's 17 again, and her life falls to pieces. So, this is a romance. It's into the young adult romance, but to be honest, it would suit any female reader of any age. Um, Current books I'm working on. One of them, as I mentioned, my mum passed away last year from cancer, and when she was first diagnosed, my stepdad said to me, "You should write about this. You should, you know, you should do this." And I thought to myself, yeah, at the time we thought it was going to be a good outcome, that she was going to beat it all, but 9 months later she'd gone. And it was a hard time, and I thought, I do want to do this, I do want to write. It would be good therapy for me, and I hope that it would be good support for other people who were going through the situation that myself and my family and my mum were going through. It might be something comforting to find that you're not on your own. There's a lot of teenage cancer books out at the moment, and American ones. This is obviously British, from a British perspective. It isn't entirely fact based. I have to say that it is based on, but it is still a fictional story. That's called C is for Cancer. I'm about 10,000 words into that at the moment. I'm aiming for 60,000, so that's not going to be finished until probably next summer. So we'll let you know when that's going to be out. Currently working on My Immortal, which is a vampire romance. I'm very, very keen to stress that it is not Twilight. There are no sparkly vampires, there are no werewolves. It's more Buffy. Big Buffy fan. It's a lot darker. Main character in that is called Ruby, and she falls in love with somebody called Caleb, who turns out to be a vampire. But he's not quite what he seems, and a halfling, which is half human, half vampire, and it is explained in the book how that comes to be. His name's Evan Hunt, voted by my Facebook fans for the name, as I couldn't think what to call him, so in the first draft of the book he's called Spike. Spike from Buffy, because I couldn't think of a name for him. He comes along and spins everything on its head. It's a bit of, as I say, a dark vampire romance, and it's going to be. It wasn't originally going to be one of a series, but because there was a bit of a misunderstanding by me calling it a dark vampire romance, it was presumed that Dark Vampire was going to be the series name. And I thought about it and thought, actually, and spoiler alert, I had this idea watching Peter. Is it Peter Pan? Hook, it might have been, where Peter Pan and Wendy is the saddest love story never told, because they break, she goes back home and that's it. So I kind of thought, well, what happened if Peter Pan was in the series and Peter Pan had his own book? But Peter Pan's not the nice little boy chasing his shadow. He has a bit of a sick and twisted vampire. And yeah, he's gone after Wendy, who married a lost boy and has children of her own now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to showing that one. I'm also writing a memory box, which is about two sisters whose mothers passed away and leaves them all of her possessions. And in the possessions is a memory box. And inside there's letters and photographs and a diary that reveal a side to their mother that they didn't know existed. And it unveils all sorts of secrets. And so that's going to be a really interesting story, I think. There's going to be another collection of short stories next year, or two collections of short stories. One is Twisted Tales, which is going to be fairy tales like Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, twisted into a bit of a dark contemporary setting. For example, Snow White is called Snow White because she's a cocaine addict, and Little Red Riding Hood Mr. Wolf or Mr. DeWolf is a serial killer. So there's going to be a collection of those. The other collection of short stories is And So I Shall Live On, which is a collection of stories about organ donation and told from the perspectives of the people who receive the donations, and also from the family that have lost somebody whose organs have been donated. So many other stories and books that I'm working on at the moment that it would take forever to tell you about it. So watch this space. It's been my first vlog, and it's a bit strange because I don't like the sound of my own voice. I hate watching my face on the screen. I'm like, but I will do another one. So I will see you soon.